it? It's a good boy. Opie. Hi guys, thanks for coming back and checking out my channel. If you are new here, my name is Kelly and I am a reseller on places like eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari, and today's video is actually kind of a recap of my 2020 and everything I've learned or, tried out and experimented, some of my top sales, things I transformed on the business side of things. I have a small list of things here that I kind of wanted to reflect on and share with you. So if you like resellers, you like to learn from them, or just watch their journeys, feel free to hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to grow my channel. That is one of my goals for 2021, actually. So if you like this, feel free to give me a thumbs up and a subscribe and all that good YouTube stuff. And we'll get right into some of my top, things that I have learned. We're going to start with, I kind of broke them up into different categories. So I have like my best sellers, so kind of my top selling brands, and maybe one or two really like high sales that I want to share. A couple new business ventures that I kind of broke out from reselling for other streams of income, and a little bit of behind the scenes of kind of what I learned as far as, organization and how you run the reselling business behind, all the sales. And then lastly, I want to talk about the community that I've found. So let's just dive right into the best of, and these will be some of my best sales and my best selling brands for 2020. And so I'm going to share part of my screen here as well, so you can see me following along on my computer, so you know how I'm getting this information. So I'm getting all of this from Thrifters Scorecard, which I will touch on in a second, but it is my inventory and sales tracking application specifically for resellers, and it is amazing and I love it so much. But I will just hop on over to the year scorecard so we can see this whole year in review. Now, I didn't make a ton of money or anything. I'm not this huge operation. It's literally just me. I do it part-time. I have a full-time day job as well. So this is just something fun I do on the side. And it's really grown this year. This is my second year as a reseller. I started eBay. Actually, I think my first eBay sale was in January of 2020. So I've been on eBay for about a full year now, which is really exciting to see kind of how it has transformed as pretty much my primary platform at the moment. So you can see how my earnings have fluctuated throughout the year. November crushed it. Not quite sure what was going on in November. I think I was probably a bit more consistent with my sales or with my listing and everything. But you can see here, eBay accounted for almost 50% of my sales. Sorry, I have this like itch. Ugh, allergies, man. Even though it's December, allergies never quit. Okay, so anyway, I made 363 sales on eBay as of this date, which I'm filming this on December 22nd. So almost 50% of my sales are coming from eBay now, and I just started eBay this year. So moral of the story there is a lot of my stuff does well on eBay, and I am kind of like, why was I so afraid to start eBay, a year ago? But, everybody has their own pace of growing and things. So if you're hesitant about eBay, give it a shot. As you can see, I wouldn't have made as much money if I didn't incorporate eBay. Poshmark still did well. It was about 36% of my sales. But yeah, eBay definitely takes the cake. And then you'll see some PayPal and YouTube sales here. And I'll kind of talk on these in a little bit, maybe in the community section. But a lot of these sales came from auctions, which is really exciting. It's something new I started doing in 2020. So let's see, some of my best sales and brands, which was, very, very eye-opening for me, was that Brooks Brothers was my top selling brand this year. I live in a kind of, career-focused area, so I find a lot of career wear in my thrift stores. And I don't pick up a ton of it, especially with COVID. Not everyone's going into the office, but those Brooks Brothers kind of career pieces like blouses and and even men's button-down shirts, things like that. I sold 18 Brooks Brothers items, which that is awesome for me. Torrid was second at 15. And then Disney. I was surprised there was so much Disney. That's 13 Disney items. Athleta, which is, yeah, I never sleep on Athleta. Bowden, Eileen Fisher, Nike, Patagonia, Victoria's Secret, and Vionic were my top 10. I try and, spruce up the brands I'm picking up. I don't like to pick up too much of one thing. That's why none of my numbers are like astronomically high for these repeat brands, but definitely wanting to pick up these again in the future, knowing that they have sold well for me. So that's really exciting. And then as far as brands are concerned as well, some of the sale prices from these have been really good. Like Hunter, I know I only sold one Hunter piece, but it did sell for $130. So Hunter, great. These were the classic rain boots, but they were a more unique style or like rare find or something like that. So they did sell for $130, which was awesome. Gal Meets Glam was another good seller. We had Marissa Webb, Jimmy Choo, Hardywood Classics. Oh, I think I typed that in wrong. I think it's actually just Hardwood Classics, but I felt like Hardywood sounded better. Anyway, these are vintage NBA jerseys, but they're dresses. So it looks like a jersey, but it's really a dress. I have found 2 of them for very, very cheap. I've only sold one so far. So this is what you're seeing here at the $75, was just one, and it sold for full price, which was really cool. But they were both Philadelphia 76ers actually, which is interesting that I don't live in Philadelphia, but I did find 2 of them from the 76ers. Anyway, Birkenstocks sell very well. I've sold several of those for an average sale price of $72. Manolo Blahnik, I've sold a couple pairs of those, average sale price of $72. Couple others. Nike, that's exciting because we know, let's see, my Nike, I've sold 9 Nike items this year for an average sale price of $63. So that's awesome. I think there were some shoes in there for sure. And then some individual sales as far as profit and sale price. Some of my best find to date actually was these Nike Air Reversal wrestling shoes. These were new old stock, purple, I think they were suede wrestling shoes. And I didn't know what they were. It was my first time. Oh, that's why my Nike is so high. Okay, I did sell a Nike piece for $350, which is going to skew that average just a little bit. Don't expect to make $350 off of every Nike that you find, but I had just watched the Michael Jordan ESPN documentary and was like, I don't know, I just got really into the shoes all of a sudden, and I had kind of steered away from Nike in the past because I just didn't know much about the shoes, but I was at a Goodwill and I was like, you know what, let's swing by the men's shoe section. Maybe I'll find some Jordans, who knows, right? And I found these Nikes. They stood out right away. They were very bright. They were purple and white, and they caught my eye right away. They were $25, but they were new. I could tell they still had they were unlaced, and they still had the paper stuffed in the toe. And I did a quick comp search, just looking up the number on the label and the tongue, and they were selling in like the hundreds. And so I was like, oh, okay, cool. Even if they're $25, I know I can make a decent amount on these. Well, I listed them for $350 on eBay, and they ended up selling full price. And then I had some people reach out to me on Instagram, because I also highlighted the shoes over there on my Instagram, which is just at thegardenfinds. Anyway, people reached out to me on Instagram and said I could have maybe doubled that amount if I had sold them to the sneaker community on Instagram, which I did not even know was a thing. So that was very eye-opening. I was more than happy with $350, but it's just, you never know where your buyers are going to be and what platforms they can be on. So that was really interesting for me. Some of these others are like the large jewelry bundles, other unique pieces. There's those Hunter boots again. The Roy Rogers thing is a movie script, actually. So that's another kind of unique category of things I started picking up. I got I don't know how many off the top of my head, 20 or so movie scripts. They were all from the same person. who was, a stuntman. I think he did makeup. He was a sword fighter in movies. I don't know. Back in the day, most of his movies were from like the 40s to the 60s, and somebody bought out his storage unit and found all his scripts, and then I bought the scripts from them, and they have been doing really well, and one of them was a Roy Rogers episode script, which literally just sold yesterday for $125, which is the highest I've sold a script so far. Most of them are bread and butter around, 15 to 30, but I was so happy with this one. That's why I bought the lot in the first place, because I saw that Roy Rogers and I knew that could get some money. So it did. I'm so glad I picked it up. This just goes to show too, like, never be afraid to try selling some new things. Like, I never thought, I'm primarily a clothing reseller. I never thought I would start dabbling into vintage movie scripts, but I did, and they have definitely been worth it. So that was a very unique find. Let's see, Winnie the Pooh, I sold a jacket. It was like a denim bomber varsity style jacket. It was really awesome, heavily embroidered. I sold that for $112 on Poshmark. So Winnie the Pooh stuff, especially vintage, has always done well for me. I sold some overalls with Winnie the Pooh on them for like $50. So that's one of my like hidden gems. Anytime I see a vintage Winnie the Pooh clothing item, I will always pick it up. Doesn't mean it's always going to sell for $100, but there are definitely people out there who will buy them, so they usually go quick. So yeah, you'll see some repeats here. Here was another vintage, a lot of Philly stuff I'm noticing now, a lot of Philly sports teams, but this was another vintage jacket. It had the retro logo from the Philadelphia Eagles. It looked like a varsity jacket again. It was a pullover style. It sold for $80, or $80.52 was the sale price on that. So I definitely had some good items so far. And most of my sources, have been from thrift stores. So Second Ave is a thrift store near me. I love it. They do tons of 50% off sales. If you haven't checked out some of my 50% off hauls, definitely go check those out. They usually come from the Second Avenue store. And then here are some of all the other places that I get some of my goods. I get a lot from online auctions like Chris the Goose. Oh, Nespresso's emailing me. Chris the Goose is where I got all those scripts. I've gotten items from Donatello Bodolino, Tea, Auctions for You. These are all YouTube places. Flippin' Flamingos, here's another one. And then The Garden is another very popular sourcing spot for me, which is literally the trash. Anything I get for free, basically. But the original Garden was named after the loading dock from my apartment complex, where people move in and move out all the time and they just leave stuff. It's kind of like the free at the curb station for my apartment, which is just hilarious, and I have made so much money. Like, I've sold 33 items that have come from there, and I've profited $671 from the Garden, which is just incredible to me. So that's almost $700 in trash. So also, don't be afraid to look for items in unique places. You never know what you're gonna find. Okay, so, and then this just gets into the rest of, each individual sale throughout the year, but those are some of my highlights for the year. I was really excited to, try new things, branch out, and this is a perfect segue into the next kind of big accomplishment of 2020, which is my Thrifters Scorecard app. So that's what you were following along with in the split screen here was Thrifters Scorecard, which is the app that I 100% developed by myself and released this year. It's very new, and I'm trying to get the word out there for all the other resellers who might need some help tracking their inventory and their sales, but it's definitely my proudest accomplishment of this year. I'm just beyond proud in the product that I have made, and it's still growing. There's lots of room for improvement. It's nothing highly technical, but I think so far the feedback has been wildly positive, and people are saying it is saving them a lot of time. It's helping them understand their businesses better. So if it's something that you want to check out, definitely feel free to do so. Just head on over to thriftersscorecard.com. And if you do want to sign up, just use the code GARDEN and you'll get 15% off your first month, which is after the 30-day free trial. So anyway, that is one of my biggest accomplishments, I think, of this year. It's kind of reselling related, but it's a branch off of that of a reseller tool, basically, that I have created and developed for all of you, and I hope that you all find benefit in it. I'm constantly pushing out new updates and new features to it all the time, but you can see kind of what you'll get. That's just a very, very small portion of the app is what I just showed you there with my year in review. So check it out if you're interested and you need some help with your inventory. What else? So the next few things are going to be more like behind the scenes, what it's like to run a reselling business. And one of the biggest ones for me was organization. I live in a pretty small apartment. You'll see I'm always in kind of a unique space. If you look at my background, I'm usually sitting on the floor. I don't have a studio set up by any means. I'm literally on my bedroom floor right now. You can see out my window. I'm clearly not on the ground floor. So I'm in a kind of high-rise apartment building. It is tiny, and I needed to be creative on how I store all of my goods. I have, I could look it up, but I think about 500 inventory items listed and unlisted at the moment. So I had to get creative on how I store all of those. And originally I was just storing things in these little, those collapsible fabric squares. They're like those little bins that you pull in and out of the shelving unit. Those were great, but they weren't big enough, and I kept growing, and I just needed more room. So I upgraded to the big Rubbermaid tubs that I know a lot of people use, or whatever brand they are. And I can fit, depending on the size of the item, 20 to 30 items in one of those tubs. And I have them literally just stacked in my living room or on a bookcase somewhere. I have them kind of scattered throughout my house, but it works for me. And that was a big accomplishment as far as getting that system in place. I've started pre-bagging all of my items. So I photograph the item, I de-lint it and do all of that stuff, make sure it's, good to go to a buyer. I package it in a clear poly bag, and then I label it with a SKU number. So maybe it's tote A item 6, for example. So I'll just put a sticker on there that says A6, and then I'll throw it in tote A, and now it's ready to go. I did that for a couple reasons. I have a dog, which you probably saw at the beginning. Opie has gathered a lot of fans through my YouTube journey as well, but he sheds a lot, and I didn't want to risk any hair getting on the item. Not that he's rifling through the tubs, but if you have animals, you know that their hair just magically gets everywhere, and I just didn't want the risk of that. So I felt confident in just that peace of mind, having items stored in their poly bags would keep that from happening. Also saved me time when it came to shipping. I could just pull the item from the tub, throw on a thank you sticker to cover up the SKU number, and then just throw it in the mailer and put the label on, and off it goes. And so that really cut down on a lot of that shipping time, since I don't have a big, table for a shipping station, putting things in tissue paper, all of that. I don't have a good workspace, a flat table area. Don't really have one of those. So this really cut down on the need for anything like that, which was phenomenal. The other thing that kind of goes hand in hand with that inventory system is the way that I ship. Specifically on eBay, I started weighing my items before I listed them. And so I would take, a shirt, it's in its poly bag, I'd throw it on the scale, get a ounce or whatever weight off of it, add a little bit due to the poly mailer that I'm going to be putting it in, and I'll write that down in the listing. And that has really helped me charge shipping accurately, because there is nothing worse than, posting something for sale. it sells, but you didn't charge enough in shipping and you end up eating a lot of the shipping cost. That's more quote unquote dangerous when it comes to these big bulky items, like maybe boots or shoes or something like that, especially if they don't fit in a flat rate box. You know, there's just lots of different scenarios. So I started weighing all of my items before I list them, and that way I will always charge accurate shipping. I'm about to sneeze. I'm back. Yeah, allergies. Anyway, that has really helped me charge accurate shipping and not eat any of that shipping cost anymore. So I usually just round up. Like if something weighs, I think off the top of my head, I charge $4.99 shipping for anything that weighs under 12 ounces. So I'll never lose money. And in fact, I'll probably gain like a nickel or something, which, you know, it adds up eventually. So that was another big accomplishment, was redoing my shipping, redoing my inventory, developing the app. All of those things go hand in hand. You know, it's a well-oiled machine, sometimes well-oiled. That has to work together. You know, when you're a reseller, all of these parts work together to create a successful business. So those were some of my biggest behind the scenes accomplishments. Another thing on my list here is I started selling jewelry, which that flows great into my next kind of topic, which is the community that I have found. But back to the jewelry, I really got into selling jewelry thanks to Devin from Moonstone Mamas. She's amazing. I love her so much. We do auctions every Tuesday together now, and she's part of this wonderful YouTube community, and she's been more than welcoming and just a really great friend now. And I just love the doors that have opened for me when you put yourself out there. It is a little scary. It's very intimidating at first. I am an introvert. I like my house. I like, you know, my little cocoon. But it's also been really rewarding to, you know, go into these auctions and make friends with people and even go live with them. Like, you create some really awesome friendships, and you may not live, you know, right down the street from each other. Like, we live all the way across the country from each other, but she's a great friend, and I love the community that has been introduced to me specifically through her and other auctions. You don't really need to even buy anything if you're not trying to source at auctions. They're just a great place to just chat with people. It's a bunch of like-minded people that come together. They're all supportive and understanding, and I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it other than it's been really great for my mental health this year just to have that community of friends and family in the YouTube chat. I'm not great at social media. I'm trying to build, you know, have the Instagram match the YouTube and all of these things, but social media like Instagram is a little intimidating, more so to me, because I just don't know. I just feel like I'm not a pro at it. It doesn't come naturally to me. But the YouTube community has been wildly accepting, which is just incredible. So more than anything, I'm thankful for all the growth and all the friends that I have made this year. I definitely wouldn't be here making this video if it weren't for all of you. So thank you so much to everyone who has ever watched one of my videos or subscribed or given me a thumbs up, or I've chatted with you in either via email or in some chat somewhere. You all have made a profound impression on me this year, and I'm so thankful for everything I have learned and all the friends that I have gained along the way. And I'm really excited to see where 2021 brings us. And I hope you guys stay tuned for my journey in 2021. So that kind of wraps up my very all over the map style recap from 2020. But if you enjoyed it, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the new year. Bye.